Have you ever told yourself, I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'll wake up early. Tomorrow, I'll begin working on my dream. Tomorrow, I'll become the person I want to be. But somehow, tomorrow keeps moving further away. We scroll through our phones. We watch another video. We tell ourselves we deserve a little rest. And before we realize it, another day has quietly slipped by. The strange thing about time is that it never argues with us. It never warns us loudly. It simply moves forward, silently. And many people only realize what they have lost when the opportunity is already past. We all do this sometimes. We delay important things. We ignore the small moments that could change our lives. But what if the real difference between success and regret is simply how we treat time? This is not just a story. It is a reminder, and perhaps even a warning, because sometimes the biggest opportunities in life don't come with loud announcements. They come quietly, and if we are not paying attention, we may sleep right through them. So if you don't want to miss the opportunities, list them, do this story carefully, because hidden inside this simple story is a powerful secret about success that many people realize far too late. Once upon a time, in a small, peaceful village, surrounded by hills and fields, there lived a boy named Daniel. Daniel was known by everyone in the village, not because he was talented, not because he worked hard, but because he was incredibly lazy. While other children woke up early to help their families in the fields, Daniel preferred sleeping late. When his parents asked him to study, he would say, I'll do it later. When friends invited him to learn new skills, he would shrug and reply, there's plenty of time. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months, and Daniel's life slowly became a long chain of unfinished plans. One afternoon, while he was lying under a tree doing absolutely nothing, an old traveler arrived in the village. The traveler was known as a wise man who had spent many years exploring the world. Villagers respected him and often asked for his advice. When the wise man passed by Daniel, he noticed the boy lazily staring at the sky. The old man smiled gently and asked, Tell me, young boy, what are you doing with your life? Daniel laughed. Oh, there's no rush. I still have plenty of time. The wise man studied his face quietly. Then he said, If you truly believe that, let me tell you a story. The boy sat up slightly, curious. The old man sat beside him under the shade of the tree and began speaking in a calm, warm voice. Many years ago, there was a powerful king who ruled a great kingdom. Daniel listened as the old man continued. But the king had a childhood friend who was very lazy. The king loved his old friend deeply and wanted to help him succeed in life. So one day, the king invited him to the palace. My friend, the king said, I want to give you a chance to become wealthy. The lazy man's eyes lit up with excitement. The king continued, Tomorrow morning, when the palace gates open at sunrise, you may enter the royal garden. Inside the garden are countless treasures, gold coins, jewels, and precious gems. The man could hardly believe his luck. But, the king added, raising a finger, there is one rule. You must leave the garden before sunset. When the sun goes down, the gates will close forever. The lazy man eagerly agreed. That night, he dreamed about all the riches he would collect. The next morning, the palace gates opened as the sun rose over the horizon. Excited, the man entered the royal garden. It was even more beautiful than he imagined. Trees full of golden fruit, flowers made of silver petals, treasure chests hidden among sparkling fountains. He thought to himself, there is so much treasure here. I should explore everything first. I'll collect the riches later. So he walked around slowly, admiring the beauty of the garden. After some time, he found a comfortable tree and decided to rest. I'll just sit here for a moment, he thought. The breeze was soft. The sunlight was warm. Before long, his eyes slowly closed, and he fell asleep. Hours passed. The sun continued its silent journey across the sky. The man finally woke up. He looked around in confusion. The sky was glowing orange. The sun was already touching the horizon. Panic filled his chest. He ran toward the palace gates as fast as he could, but it was too late. The gates closed with a heavy sound. The treasures of the garden remained behind those walls forever. He had lost everything, not because he lacked opportunity, but because he wasted time. The wise man finished the story and looked at Daniel. The boy sat silently. For the first time, he wasn't smiling. He wasn't relaxed. He was thinking. Finally, he spoke softly. So, the man lost everything because he didn't value the time he had. The wise man nodded gently. Exactly. Opportunity is like that garden. And time is the gate. Daniel lowered his head. For the first time in his life, he truly understood something important. He wasn't unlucky. He wasn't incapable. He had simply been wasting the most valuable treasure he had, time. That evening, Daniel went home quietly. The next morning, something unusual happened. For the first time, Daniel woke up before the sun. He helped his parents with their work. He started studying. He began learning new skills. Day by day, small changes slowly transformed his life. The villagers began to notice. Daniel looked happier, stronger, more confident. Years later, he became one of the most respected people in the village, and whenever someone asked him the secret of his success, he simply smiled and said, "I stopped sleeping in the garden." In real life, time is more valuable than gold. Money lost can be earned again. Opportunities may return, but time, on say, buses it never comes back. Every day we wake up is like entering that garden, full of possibilities, full of hidden treasures. But the gates will close eventually, and the truth is simple. If you value time, time will value you. Success is not always about talent. Sometimes it is simply about using the hours you have while others are still sleeping. If this story made you think, take a moment today to ask yourself, am I using my time wisely? Or am I sleeping in the garden? If you enjoyed this story, give this video a like and share it with someone who might need this reminder. And don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories that can change the way you see life. Thank you for listening, and remember, your time is your greatest treasure.